Hello, friends. Welcome to Logistics of Logistics podcast. My name is Joe Lynch. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today, I am in Long Beach, California. I am at the IANA Intermodal EXPO 2025 with the Grand Poobah of the IANA Intermodal Association EXPO 2025. Anne Reinke, please introduce yourself and your organization and what you guys do.
Okay. Well, thank you, Joe. I'm Anne Reinke. I'm President and CEO of the Intermodal Association of North America. We're a 34-year-old organization that represents all facets of the intermodal industry. So we have 5 divisions. We have a marine division. We have a rail division. So that's our Class 1 railroads and short lines. We have our MC division, motor carriers. We have our 3PL division, and then we have our supplier division. And so what we try to do is grow attention, grow awareness, advocate for the industry, and ultimately grow intermodal market share.
Yep, and you mentioned advocate for the industry. I've had you on the podcast. I don't think there's too many people in Washington, D.C. like you guys are who are actually meeting with Congress on a regular basis, basically fighting for us. And even if you're not part of IANA, which you should be, IANA is fighting, and there's a lot of big fights that we're in right now, and we'll talk about some in a minute, but we need that voice in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And so what's interesting is, I started in December, and we did not have anyone doing advocacy for us in any real substantial way. And so the board said, we need to change that. And so fortunately, with the board's blessing, we have hired a vice president of government affairs. And so that person can be in on all of those meetings with members of Congress. To your point, Joe, not everybody knows the intermodal industry. Not everybody understands it.
Right.
But we're kind of important. So being part of that discussion is critical.
Yep. I told you before we hit the record button that imagine being in a group of industries and somehow the trucking guys got to be the glamorous ones. And I honestly, no joke, rail and intermodal is the backbone of the economy. And it has been for a long time, but it just somehow doesn't get the notice that a lot of the industry does. And when we talk freight tech, everyone goes, oh, freight tech for trucking? But I think if you come here, you'll realize freight tech is for the whole industry.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And look, the railroad industry is almost 200 years old. So when you have an old line industry like that, they're not necessarily out to impress you. You should know what they do, right? That's it. But as we move into this next century, the customer visibility is so critical. And if we're really focused on growing market share, there's higher expectations from today's customers than there used to be.
Yep. I said earlier, talking to different people, during COVID, we realized how difficult the port could be, and we did pretty good. I mean, it was in the newspaper every day, and the rest of the world learned what we did. But we realized we didn't have the visibility or the data that the rest of the industry has. And I'm telling you, if you go to all the booths like I've been doing today, every other person talks about visibility and data. And right now behind you is the box, and I feel like the containers that we've been using for years are all being upgraded to become those smart containers, and it's about damn time.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I mean, this is the thing too, is because I just mentioned 5 different divisions, and so that's 5 different modes or industries that we're talking about, and they all have to collaborate, and part of that is getting rid of the silos, but making it so that it makes sense for each individual mode to break down those silos. And I think we're getting there.
Yeah. So the intermodal people are getting their glow up this week in Long Beach.
That's right.
And this is the only convention center in the world that has its own port. So you got to get here. So what are some of the big topics you saw on the floor here at IANA and also in all the speeches today?
Yeah, so it's one of the reasons for visibility, Joe, is because of cargo theft.
Yes.
On the trucking side, they're really dealing with some theft, but more fraud. And on the intermodal side, we're really dealing with cargo theft. And so we had a number of panel discussions, including an individual from the California Highway Patrol, just talking about what he sees, how you can do prevention. And then we had a former DEA administrator, Anne Reinke, talk about the connection between cargo theft and drug cartels. we felt like we were screaming in the wind for years. I think finally there's an understanding like this is not just a non-violent property crime.
Right.
This is actually stuff that's happening, affecting like huge criminal enterprises.
Yeah, and I think, that theft is such a difficult piece because when you say, if something got stolen, where did it get stolen? I don't know, somewhere between Atlanta and Los Angeles.
That's right.
Call your local police department. So we need national enforcement on this.
100%. And one of the things that Anne suggested, which was so smart, was basically charting your losses over a period of time, say 6 to 9 months, see if you can see trends, and then going into delivering that to, say, 5 or 6 jurisdictions, like this is what we've been noticing. Give them the data package, and then let them use that to do some enforcement.
Right. I always call it, I think they're siblings, freight fraud, cargo theft, cybersecurity, all horrible. No one really wants to admit that we had cybersecurity hack. No one wants to admit they were defrauded, and no one wants to admit that we had something stolen.
Yeah.
It implies I did something wrong, but it's happening to the very best of them.
That's right.
Somehow we have to get past the collective shame so we can share the damage with Congress, and that's what you guys are doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is nobody wants to be the poster child. Nobody wants to say this happened on my watch.
Right.
But if we don't report it, how can we resolve it? How can we solve for it?
It's funny because that's the same with phishing attacks.
Yeah.
Last year I was at the cybersecurity conference and they said you have to somehow encourage your people that when they think, I think I hit a link I shouldn't have, good, tell us.
Yeah.
It's better than you going, I'm going to shut off my computer and pretend I wasn't here today.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And so what we have to do as an industry, and we have a cargo theft working group to do this, is developing best practices in education and educating every stakeholder in the freight supply chain, so from the beneficial cargo owner to the end user and everyone in between.
Right.
And I think it's incumbent on us to do that because otherwise, we will not have the sort of culture of security, as we heard it said, creating that culture of security.
Yep. So I definitely saw visibility and data, and obviously the cargo theft, cybersecurity, freight fraud that you see everywhere.
Yeah.
I still think that a lot of the solution to that we're going to have to come up with ourselves.
Yeah, I agree.
I've talked to people here.
What Anne Milgram said, which is you can't rely on the government to do that.
Right. Well, it's prevention as opposed to enforcement after the fact.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of companies here. I talked to Bloodhound this morning. I'll get back to them today. I think they're the ones who are making the smart containers going forward.
No, I need to talk to them as well. I need to talk to everybody on the floor.
Right. So what else do people listening need to know about this conference?
Yeah, so they call this Intermodal Christmas because
the Super Bowl.
It's the Super Bowl. Everyone here is from the intermodal industry and has a stake in it. So if you're interested, I can't tell you how many people I've already talked to who said we're looking at getting into intermodal, but we don't know how. These are the people that you need to talk to. Or if you want to understand how you can improve the intermodal product that you have, this is the place to do it.
There are a lot of trucking companies here. I just interviewed the guys from Ryder, and they said, we say port to door, so we better be at the port.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah, and so it's like the highest and best use of each mode is what we call it. So we're all kind of co-equals in an important family.
Yeah, if you don't, this is a great place to make partnerships. Partnerships don't happen over the phone or by email. You have to get on a plane and come out to IANA.
Yes, exactly. Whatever can happen, it can be serendipitous.
Yep. So, what's been some of your favorite parts about the conference so far? We're not done yet. We got another day and a half.
We got another day. I know. What I liked, like last night, we had a new member or first-time attendee reception, and talking to those folks who are trying to break into the industry or really had never been before and are like a little bit overwhelmed, and trying to walk them through how they can understand and really maximize their presence here. That's one. And the other thing that's so exciting is we have college kids here.
I saw them.
Who took advantage of this academic challenge where they're given a problem, they have 5 hours to resolve it, and then present to people in the industry. And it's like a real world problem. And getting those kids involved and engaged, they were thrilled. I talked to a bunch of them, and that's our next generation.
I talked to Nicholas from your team, and he said, he went to University of Maryland. He goes, and they're playing the University of Maryland fight song. He's like, what is happening here?
I know.
And I think they came in second. University of Mississippi State.
They came in first, and they were first-time attendees.
I heard. And last year, Tennessee won, and they were a first-time attendee. So we have to encourage the universities to get out here.
And if we're going to make this a thriving and growing and changing and adaptive industry, we need young people to be exposed to it.
We always have a problem, even with great supply chain schools like we just mentioned, that this industry is moving and changing so fast that if they're teaching 2 or 3 years behind us, and of course the young people are going to know the tech and the AI better than most of us, but anyway, this has been a great conference, and I've been saying this industry needs a glow up, and this is it, and this is what your job is. Give us that glow up. Well, thank you
for being here.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Oh, and I just hit my mic. Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm learning to use my new tech.
Yeah, good for you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
And thank you so much. Great conference.